Massingham and welcome to another episode of Illuminez TV. Now the topic this week was actually sparked by a road incident that I had, and it was really a great reminder to me of my motto to be kind and not right. Now I was on my regular commute home from the city and I was sitting at some traffic lights waiting to turn right onto a pretty busy road. Now when I turn right at these lights, it's really important that I make sure I'm in that left-hand lane straight away, because I have to make a left-hand turn onto the Brisbane inner city bypass pretty quickly. Now if I don't get into this lane, I'm going to be forced to go straight ahead, and if this happens, I could be driving around the city for hours trying to find my way home. Now my friends will know exactly what I mean by this, because they have actually been in the car with me many times, either going round in circles or going in the complete opposite direction to what we are supposed to be going. Now on this particular day, the traffic in that left-hand lane was banked up, and I didn't know this until I had actually turned right and found that I couldn't get into that lane, and I ended up sitting in the middle of a major intersection, blocking the path of the cars sitting at the lights on the opposite side of the road. I had no choice but to pull into the right-hand lane and drive slowly down it with my left-hand blinker on, hoping and praying that someone was going to be kind enough to let me in before I was forced to go straight ahead. So there I was, had my blinker on, I picked my mark, I eyeballed this lady, and I thought, oh, she's going to let me in, I'm sure of it. And I tried to squeeze my way in front of her, but do you think she was going to be kind and let me in? Absolutely no way. She got on the horn, she gave me the finger, and I could see these words spewing out of her mouth that thank goodness I couldn't hear. Now luckily the driver behind her was kind and he did let me in, but not before the stress of that situation had potentially done some damage to my body. I really was quite upset. I had cortisol streaming through my system, preparing me for fight or flight. My heart rate had increased, my stomach was in knots, my breathing was shallow, and I really was in a state of heightened anxiety, all because one person could not find it in her heart to show some compassion and let me in. She just had to be right. So why did she do this? I'm certain that the story that she had made up in her head was that I was too impatient to join the queue and wait until it was my turn to turn left, and instead she thought I was deliberately trying to jump the queue and push in. Now, even if this was the case, what harm would it have done to her to put aside being right for just a moment and to be kind? Now, I'm sure she would have been in a far more relaxed state had she done that. I always try to be kind and not right. It really is one of my mottos. And this was a fantastic reminder to me that sometimes the stories I make up in my head are not always true either. How do I know that the person trying to nudge their way into the turning lane that I have been sitting in for ages knew that they had to be in that lane 100 metres back? Maybe they were new to the area and didn't know the roads very well. How do I know that my work colleague who was short to me this morning wasn't being rude, but had been up all night with a sick child and wasn't thinking straight? Why do I always have to tell my husband that the correct way of putting the toilet paper on the toilet holder is with the paper hanging down the back of the roll and not hanging down over the top? Why don't I just be kind and put it on the right way without having to go and tell him? You know, all too often we have this intense need to make sure that we are seen as being right. We get aggressive, we get obstinate, disagreeable, and sometimes cruel just to say that we are right. We argue and argue until we have proven that we are right, leaving behind a trail of emotional destruction. Seriously, who cares if you're right? So what if you lose 2 seconds letting someone into the turning lane so they can turn left? I'm sure you will make that up elsewhere in the day if you really have to. So what if you let someone win an argument? Maybe they need that little win more than you do on that day. There are times when you have to let go of your ego and just let love take its place. Quality relationships are far more important than the short-lived high of proving that you are right. Letting go and being satisfied just in yourself without letting everyone know that you have done the right thing brings you far more happiness than proving that you are right. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to agree with everyone and everything and that you have to compromise on your values. There is still plenty of room for a robust debate and discussion. You just have to make sure that your reason for doing this is not to prove that you are right, but to help the other person grow and learn. You know, whether it's the small things that you encounter every day or the bigger issues that come up now and then, always remember that being kind and not right will leave you in a much better state of mind. So, your new adventure for this week is to catch yourself being kind and not right. Please let me know how you go. I'd love to hear what you did to put this into action. Make sure you click on the like button on this video to share it with your friends. The more people that we can get to be kind and not right, the less road rage that we are going to encounter. Have an awesome week being kind, and together we will colour your world with health and happiness. I look forward to catching you next week.